Welcome to the State of the Union from Brussels. The press is one of the crucial sectors for the preservation of democracy and fundamental rights. But the rise of disinformation strategies, a lack of transparency about media ownership, and illegal pressure on journalists are serious threats. What can also jeopardize democracy and fundamental rights are the abuses of artificial intelligence, a technological innovation with enormous potential for human progress, but still without many rules. In a single plenary session this week, the European Parliament approved legislation in these two areas, adopting the Media Freedom Act and the Artificial Intelligence Act. In the case of artificial intelligence, the European Commission considers that the EU is setting an example for the rest of the world.
Nos start-up européennes seront les meilleurs ambassadeurs de notre approche européenne de l'AI, une AI fiable, accessible, respectant les règles de confiance pour tous nos concitoyens et nos entreprises, mais aussi pour ce que le monde regardera de ce que nous faisons.
But despite this legislative frenzy, the European Parliament struck a blow against the European Commission. We are already in an election campaign environment, but the European Parliament decided to file a complaint in court against the European Union's executive body. The issue at stake is the decision to unfrozen a tranche of cohesion funds for Hungary last December. The Parliament considers that Hungary has not made enough reforms to reverse some violations of the rule of law and that there was a blackmail from Prime Minister Viktor Orbán.
What is also very disturbing is that the moment when the Commission took the decision that the money was going to be released, it was on the eve of a European Council summit where important decisions were to be taken on Ukraine, and Orban had already announced he was going to block it. And that is a very serious breach of the treaties because the European Commission is not supposed to serve anyone.
Let's now talk about the European Union efforts to maintain its diplomatic relevance in the Middle East. The Cyprus-Gaza maritime aid corridor was opened with the support of the United States and other countries. The small island, and a European Union member, is the departure point of humanitarian aid to the Palestinian territory. To discuss the implications of this corridor and other developments, I spoke with Joost Ilterman, Program Director for Middle East and North Africa at the International Crisis Group. Joost Ilterman, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. I start by asking what is the impact of the maritime corridor for humanitarian aid to Gaza in terms of practical aid to the population, but also as a political message to the government of Israel?
Thank you for having me on the program. Of course, the impact is very, very limited because we're talking about very small volumes compared to what trucks can bring in via the various road entries into Gaza. That's one. And two, the aid may come to the coast, but there is no distribution network set up in especially northern Gaza. The distribution is chaotic and unorganized and doesn't reach really the people it ought to be reaching. That's one. The second one, of course, is the political and symbolic importance, which is considerable because it exposes the weakness of the Israeli system, which is not accidental but deliberate, where they withhold aid from the starving population in Gaza.
So the European Union decided to disburse more money for the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, and some countries also did that bilaterally. Nevertheless, the investigations about the suspect involvement of their workers in Hamas terror attack is not over. So what is the explanation for this change of mind?
First of all, they haven't found or haven't received any persuasive evidence from the Israeli side about these allegations. And secondly, if at all, these allegations are found to be true, they are aberrations within the system and do not represent any systematic effort by UNRWA, the refugee agency, to support Hamas in the Gaza Strip. And thirdly, you have the tremendous humanitarian need, which should not be held hostage to some political arguments having to do with October 7th.
So there is a lot of concern about the situation in Rafah, in the south of Gaza. We don't know if the Israeli government will go ahead with another operation. What do you think the international community could do to avoid that operation?
I'm not privy to Israeli decision-making, so I don't know exactly what is going on in terms of their decision, but there certainly have been some red lines laid down by the United States and others. And actually, at this moment, even if Israel wants to launch a ground offensive in Rafah, they don't have the numbers of troops deployed in the Gaza Strip to enable that. They have been sent back to Israel to give them a rest, and it's not clear if and when they will come back to Gaza. So for the moment, an offensive on Rafah seems off the calendar, but it could come back, of course, because the fight against Hamas goes on as far as Israel is concerned, and of course the hostages are still in Gaza, and Israel has made clear that it will do everything it can to secure their release.
Joost Hilterman, thank you very much for your contribution to the program.
Thank you so much.
Remember that we spoke about artificial intelligence in the beginning of the program? So here is the theme of the robot fair R24 in the Danish city of Odense. They lift, they screw, and they could be headed to a workplace near you. Over 5,000 visitors are gathering in the fair that is featuring an array of latest robotics. Odense is particularly known for cobots, collaborative robots designed to work alongside humans. It is now considered one of Europe's main robotic hubs, with more than 160 companies. The industry rose from the ashes of Odense steel shipyard, which closed in 2012. A fitting fair tale for the hometown of Denmark's most famous author, Hans Christian Andersen. With this, we close our edition. Thank you for watching.